Now, it's World Refugee Day today, a time to recognize the resilience of forcibly displaced people throughout the world. Congolese national Tresor Refugee was orphaned at the age of 17 and eventually ended up in South Africa after traveling through the continent. He's managed to carve out a successful music career and was recently added to his collection after winning a Sama Award. He joins us now in the studio. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us today.
Thank you very much for having me.
But Refugee Day is a day that's a very personal one for you.
That's correct.
Isn't it?
Yes.
You left your home country, you left Goma in Eastern DRC in 2007.
Correct.
You were 17. Can you give us a snapshot of what that must have felt like when you decided, right, I'm leaving and I'm going to try and make a life for myself in Durban, South Africa is where you ended up?
Thank you. Firstly, thank you so much for having me today. It's a very special day, a very personal day for me. As you said, I left DRC Congo Goma very, very young. Just like many other youth in my hometown and surrounding areas, we grew up a lot around wars and armed conflicts. And a lot of time when you get to reach a level where you 17, 18, or you finish your high school, there's really not much to do other than either you join an army or you're a rebel or finish studying if your parents can afford it and not really have a job.
Yeah, you're supposed to have dreams at that age, don't you? What were your dreams then?
I've always, since I was very young, I've always thought my hometown and where I come from was really smart for me. I've always wanted to have a music career. I didn't know how or where it's going to turn out. So I started traveling as a refugee from the time I was like 17. I lost my parents very young, so I went through Rwanda, Burundi, Tanzania. I went through a whole bunch of countries, eventually ending up in Durban months later. I got my first papers as a refugee in Durban within a few months.
Can you remember that day like it was yesterday? What did that feel like?
I've never thought. I don't think you choose to be a refugee. A lot of time there's things that drive you to look for something better for yourself, for your family, and it's not really a choice. Nobody really want to leave home, you know, because we all love to be in our comfortable space.
But you're driven by a desire to make a better life.
Yes, a better life, and also just to start to be in a place where that would be very healthy for my dreams, and also just to start something new and hopefully change the whole narrative for my people, you know.
Now, when you arrived here from 2007 onwards, you brought out your first album in 2015. 8 years is not a long amount of time for somebody to arrive from another country. You're 17, 18 years old. You don't know anybody really. All you have is this love language, which is music. And you're able to bring out an album in 2015 that features some great artists. How were you able to do that while being this foreigner in this strange land?
I think it still puzzles my mind as well. It's still a massive dream of mine. Just a lot of time, I'm very, very grateful. I mean, I got really accepted, I got received, I got adopted by the South African community and the musical community. And I mean, my first album, I remember telling my manager then, I'd love to have this and this and this artist guesting on the album.
And he must have thought you were mad.
You're mad. There's no way you're going to have everybody. And if you do, it might be one of the most exciting debut albums in South African music history.
Yeah.
And that's what we did, you know.
But I suppose for you, going through the obstacles you had up until then, nothing was impossible.
Yeah, up until now, that's what I tell people, like, if I look back at the story and the journey that I've traveled, nothing really phases me, or nothing is impossible in my eyes, because as long as you have the perseverance, the patience, and the passion to put in the work, I don't believe that there's no mountain that we cannot climb.
Now, when we heard today that you were coming in for this interview, there was a ripple of excitement in the office.
All right, thank you.
But you do understand that there are many people who have that refugee label hanging around their head.
Yes.
And a room is not filled with excitement when they know that they're arriving.
You know, that's, I think, why I'm here on this platform today, so people can see that refugees look like this.
Yeah.
That a refugee is not just a kid with a fly on the mouth.
Who's looking for a handout.
You know, a refugee can be able to change, shift the narrative, can be able to empower. I have my band is South African. My whole team management, my whole record label, you can be able to empower people, and that for me is the reason why I'm here. I believe I've been used as a tool to kind of change the narrative and show people that, hey, look, a refugee actually does not just look this way. They actually, if given a chance or given a little bit of light and love, they can actually turn out to be this exciting person that can be able to also contribute beautifully and positively to the society.
Now, you haven't taken this role that you have lying down. You are plowing back into that where you've come from. You're an ambassador for the United Refugee Agency. You've traveled to these camps in places like Malawi. How important is that for you?
It's very, very, very important for me to connect with the real issues, which are the refugee and armed conflicts around Africa. As I said earlier, I grew up around war. It's still happening in Congo. And
it was the reality you knew.
That's pretty much like, it's pretty much what I know, and most of the kids that come from where I come from know. I mean, it's happening now in Sudan, it's happening in a lot of places around Africa and around the world, in Syria, in Palestine. It happened in a lot of places. And for me, going back to camps and meeting a lot of kids that I can see the passion, I can see the drive, I can see that they feel confined. Just being able to connect to them, I can see myself in them.
At a human level.
Yeah, I can see that here's a kid whose wings have been clipped because they have no chance, they have no support. But if given a little bit of chance, can be able to turn into this amazing phenomenon, whether it's sports, in sport, or whether in music, whether in academics, whatever it is that you choose to do. And I mean, we connected beautiful people, the kids in Malawi, and it's amazing what the UNHCR is doing with refugees, empowering them in the camp. And I really hope I'll be able to have the chance and to be able as well to empower a lot of them. And because I believe as refugees, it's just a situation that you find yourself in without having a choice. But there's nothing really that can stop a refugee becoming some of the best mind or best people to work on the planet Earth. There's really nothing.
Now, you've taken all of that passion and all of that drive from your life's experience and you've plowed it into your music. And people are saying that you're the guy that's taking African pop to the world. Is that a mantle that you carry easily? Do you take it seriously?
I take it very seriously, and you know, I think everything has been really, my whole life has turned out to be a purpose. I've got to spend a lot of time with Brahi, who did in the 60s, who became very close and mentor to me. I spent a lot of time with Mautela Queens and Yvonne Chaka Chaka, and just crossing paths with Kaifa Semenya, with these legends that really have traveled this incredible journey of taking African music to the next level, has given me this strong desire to take it where they left off and carry on. And that's pretty much my mission, and my motto is pretty much to bring back the glory days of African pop music.
So now you've brought out your latest album, was in 2017. What can fans expect next?
So the new album, Nostalgia, just won Best Pop Album.
Yes.
That's for the third time in a row for all the albums.
Wow.
Yeah, and right now we're planning on local international tours around Africa. And most importantly, we're planning on taking African music to a whole new level. So exciting, working on really exciting collaborations. And also, again, just amazing, amazing projects to empower African youth.
Fantastic. Great to have you with us. Tresor, bringing us the message of World Refugee Day, a very, very personal message for him as well. Thank you so much for coming.